When someone says Bruce Lee, what comes into your mind? For me, it is the fearless and disastrous martial artist, an actor, philosopher, and undefeatable master. But so little do we know about him. For me, reminiscing about Bruce Lee changed when I came to know about his affectionate and caring side. Welcome, and today we will be hovering through the soft and fragile side of him. So without wasting much more time, let's get started. If you're a fan of Bruce Lee like me, then you would know that he had two children, a boy and a girl. When Bruce Lee died tragically at the age of 32, his son, Brandon Lee, was just 8 years old, and his daughter, Shannon Lee, was just 4 years old. When you picture Bruce Lee in your mind, you might not consider him a great father, but he was. For his kids, he was the ideal figure forever. Just like their father, they became film stars. But hey, let's talk about his compassion for the kids. When Brandon was little, some important guests arrived at his house for dinner. That is when little Brandon fell asleep. So instead of telling his wife Linda to go and take him to bed, he did it himself. He took him off and kissed him on the cheeks. He then tendered him and went to make him fall asleep. This shows his love for his kids. He left all the important guests alone. For him, taking his kids to bed was the most important thing, more than anything. He never wanted his son to become an actor. This is something he said when Brandon was little and his daughter Shannon wasn't even born. Because of the racism in the 70s and 60s, having an Asian man or a black guy having a leading role was impossible. Hollywood and America never saw them as heroes. That is the reason why Bruce Lee wanted his son to become a producer. His thoughts were that one day, Brandon will become the greatest producer in Hollywood. Then, he would be the person who calls all the shots and will never be discriminated against for his color and race. He never intended that his son will become an actor like his father and grandfather. This shows he was an ambitious man with immortal strength. He was the cha-cha dance lover. I know that most of you guys know that already, but when you look at the cha-cha dance, you see that it is indeed a unique style of dancing, where fluidity matters the most. He loved cha-cha dance, and this can be proved by his diary. In his diary, he wrote 108 steps of the cha-cha dance. This means he was great at it. And to be honest, this shouldn't come as a surprise, because in 1958, he won the Cha-Cha Dance Contest of Hong Kong. Can you believe he was once a champion? This guy is full of surprises. At the age of 18, when he returned to the US, he didn't have a job. So, to earn a little, he was even hired as a dance instructor. Who knew the greatest martial artist of all time would also be crazy about dance? When it comes to imagining Bruce Lee as a driver, he sucked at it. He is an actor, philosopher, producer, director, and dancer, but he was never a good driver. It's not that he wasn't intelligent enough to drive, but it was because of his vision. Most guys wouldn't know that he had been suffering from short-sightedness all along from his teens to his death. For your information, he was also the first ever person who tried contact lenses. But since they're irritating, he took them off. So, he was not a good driver because of his vision, and that is the reason why no one would drive with him. Despite his driving, he was a Porsche lover. Once, he bought a Porsche despite his financial problems. So he went out to show it to his friends and to give them a ride. The friends that he met up with were Bob Wall, Chuck Norris, and Pat Johnson. They defined the situation like this. We heard screeching of the tires with a loud bang against the wayside. They said we went out to check the situation. It was then we saw Bruce Lee with his new Porsche. He was standing by filled with pride. He told them to check out his new car. The other incident of his innocence is also related to driving. When it comes to Steve McQueen, he was his old friend from his teens. Bruce always wanted a Porsche 911 S Targa, which was owned by Steve McQueen. Bruce wanted it so bad, but Steve was there to save the day. He offered a ride to Bruce, and he took it. They were going down Mulholland Drive when Steve scared him to death. You heard me right, he was scared like hell, and this is the reason why. Mulholland Drive was a dangerous road. One mistake and you're down the hill. While Steve McQueen was better than a professional racer, Steve did all that he could. He did a complete 180 with the Porsche, pushed the car to the edge of the winding road, and did a lot of terrifying moves. He was talking to Bruce, but there was no response. When he stopped and looked at Bruce's seat, he wasn't there. He was crouched on the floor of the Porsche. Bruce cursed him a lot and threatened to kill him. Imagine getting a death note from Bruce Lee. But he didn't stop until he begged him to stop the car. When he got down, he said, "I will never drive with you again. Never." But despite McQueen scaring him to death, he still got his Porsche, which he then showed off to his friends. It was 1971. A tournament was held by Chuck Norris. It was a Pro-Am Karate Championship in Los Angeles. Bruce was invited as a guest of honor. Chuck told him if he would like to give the trophy to the grand finale black belt winner. Bruce said, "It would be my pleasure." The tournament started, and there were these little white belts. When the kids won, Bruce stood and got the little trophies. He went out to the kids and presented them with the trophies. And all the kids were left in shock. Their mouths were wide open, and they smiled. This shows the sensitivity of Bruce Lee. Although he was honored to present the grand trophy to the final winner, he made their day. I am sorry to say, guys, but you've reached the end of the video. It was so great to have you guys by my side. Now, don't forget to mention your thoughts in the comment section about Bruce Lee and how inspired you are by him. Lastly, if you enjoyed our video and all the research, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more sporty videos. See you in the next one.